What's going on, everybody? You are watching the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and we are 1 day away from the 2025 NFL Draft. If you can't tell, I'm more excited than I have ever been because on today's show, it's my final mock draft. I know, cue the boos, cue the crying. I'm really sad about it as well, but I think it's a really good one because until right now, we've done a ton of these. I've acquired a ton of draft knowledge, and we're going to break it all down for you right here on the show. We got 11 draft picks coming up over the next 3 days. First one, pick number 27 in round 1. You got 2 4th-rounders, you got 4 6th-rounders, and then you round out in the 7th round, pick number 243. So a lot of selections coming up. Make sure you guys buckle in because it's going to be a good one. Before that, we shed some light on our draft week sub battle earlier this week on Monday. Things have ramped up, okay? We've taken into second place right behind Steelers talk, but Bengals breakdown and the Browns report are still in a very close 3rd and 4th. I need you guys to help me out, okay? We'll be doing this all week long. Not the last time you're going to see this graphic. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Help us get into first place. If you hate the Steelers and if you love the Ravens, it should be easy. Click that big red subscribe button. Alrighty, in round 1, pick number 27, I've got the Baltimore Ravens drafting Malaki Starks, safety out of the University of Georgia. And from everything I've heard and everything I've seen over the past couple of weeks, it feels like Starks is a legitimate possibility. It feels like Starks is the odds-on favorite to be the pick at number 27. For multiple reasons, right? Everything you're hearing from Mel Kiper, from Adam Schefter, from all the NFL insiders kind of leads you to believe that that's probably going to be the pick because I've heard that Baltimore likes him a lot. I've also heard that Malaki likes him a lot as well. He was on the Rich Eisen show and he said, you know what? They love ball, man. I love ball, right? Just two guys or a franchise and a player that just seems like they just love this game, love playing football, and Malachi's a guy that I truly believe could play like a Raven. I've talked a ton about how much of a great pairing that he would be with Kyle Hamilton. 2 of those guys together on the field, both guys you could put anywhere. They have so many strengths, very few weaknesses. I think that would work fantastic for this Baltimore Ravens defense. One that led up a ton of chunk plays in 2024. You get Malaki Starks next to Kyle Hamilton, that doesn't happen anymore. Okay, tell me down below, what's the % chance the Ravens pick Malaki Starks at 27? Scale it from 1 to 100. Right now, I'm sitting at like 20%, which is still pretty high. You let me know yours in the comment section down below. Let's go to round 2 now, shall we? How about JT Tuimoloau? JTT, as we'll call him for the rest of this video, the edge rusher out of Ohio State University. And I really like JTT's game. Okay, because he's one of those guys that finally lived up to expectations. He was a really high recruit coming out of high school, came into Ohio State, had a really good freshman game against Penn State, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And then over the course of his career, he continued to improve year by year until his final year, his senior year in 2024, where he had 12 and a half sacks and 51 pressures. Now, I will say, with 16 games, it's a really high sample size. But still, everything about him, the way he uses his athleticism, the way he bends, the strength that he has as well, right? He's an incredibly well-rounded pass rusher, and I feel like he'd fit in very well with this defense and who they've got on the front. Let's go to round 3 now. Give me Tate Ratledge. Offensive lineman out of the University of Georgia. This is a guy who's kind of seen his draft stock rise over the past couple of weeks. And I'm not just picking him because he has a mullet, and I think that that would look really, really cool coming out of the back of a Ravens uniform. But I think that if given the right chances, and if he develops like I think he would, Ratledge could legitimately start come September. Think about the interior of this group. Daniel Faalele, Andrew Voorhees, right? 2 guys that are good, we think, don't really know. And so if Tate Ratledge comes in and is as good as I think he will be, as other people think he will be, he could give Faalele or Voorhees a run for their money. And if not, in year 1, he could just be a really solid depth piece because past those guys, you don't have much. Plain and simple. Alrighty. I got a lot more to talk about. We'll get to day 3 in just a second. Before that, make sure you guys go and check out our awesome sponsor of today's video. That's our good friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Ravens Rundown. And what I love about Game Time is they provide the easiest way to get tickets on short notice. What I love about Game Time's low prices is you get to spend more money on hot dogs, pretzels, and beer, and it's easier to get a larger group together if everyone's wallets don't take a hit getting into the ballpark. Game Time has an awesome feature called Zone Deals. Game Time Zone Deals allow customers to purchase tickets for a general area of a venue rather than specific seats, offering potential discounts and flexibility for last-minute ticket buyers. With Zone Deals comes the potential for lower prices. Zone Deals can offer discounts compared to the standard ticket listings. Of course, Game Time is known for their last-minute ticket sales, and Zone Deals can be particularly useful for those looking for deals closer to the event day. Now, I know that you guys are some massive Baltimore Orioles fans. Unfortunately, they're not at Camden Yards anytime soon, but they will be next Monday against the New York Yankees, producer Dylan's New York Yankees. So if you hate the Yankees, love the Orioles, go ahead, get out to Camden Yards right now and use our friends over at Game Time. See all the games listed, click into one, use the Game Time Picks button, and then when you choose which seat you want to buy, you can see the views from your seat right there so you can see exactly what you'll be seeing from your seat. And do not forget, use our code CHATSPORTS when you are checking out. Get $20 off. Of course, terms apply, first purchase only. So head on over to Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Let's get some in the wide receiver room, shall we? And that's Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State University. This is a guy that not many people have been talking about, in my opinion, okay? And I think he could be one of the most slept on and underrated players in this draft, especially when it comes to the wide receiver room. Take a look at what he's done in his last 4 seasons, okay? He was at UNLV before he transferred to Washington State. And in his past 2 seasons, he's combined for over 2,000 yards with 20 touchdowns and only 8 drops, all of that on 131 carries. And like I said, he's one of the more underrated wide receivers because of the amount of production he was able to do, right? Especially his senior year. Right, he transferred to Washington State, I'm sure, to play with Cam Ward. Gets 1 year with Ward, gets 850 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then it's like, sweet, let's just run this back. Cam Ward leaves, goes to Miami. Kyle Williams stays, and he has a better year than the year that he had before. Okay? He can do anything on the field. You can line him up anywhere. He's got really sure hands. I really, really like that prospect out of Washington State. I think getting him in the 4th round is great, great value. You got 2 4th-round picks. Second one is used on Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of OU. And I get it. A lot of people might think this is a little bit of a reach, okay? But to me, like, Stutzman is such a tackling machine. He is such a classic linebacker. And I think that that's just what this team needs right now. I get it. You got Roquan Smith. But like past Roquan Smith, we really don't know what Trenton Simpson's going to be because he took a little bit of a dip in production toward the end of this past year. Malik Harrison's gone. Chris Board is gone. You need another linebacker. Plain and simple. Now, is Stutzman the best 3rd down linebacker? He's the best in coverage? No, he's not. But sometimes you just need dogs out there that's going to go and make the tackle, going to go and hit some dudes. Stutzman is exactly that. Another guy that loves just running into dudes, using his power, using his size, is Ty Robinson, the defensive tackle out of Nebraska. Big boy, over 300 pounds. And if we're being honest, Dylan, you've produced a lot of these for me. I've mocked Robinson in like 7 mock drafts. I think this is my 9th one. It's my final one, obviously, because the draft is tomorrow. And I've taken Robinson a ton because I have so much belief into who he can turn into. I see Robinson as almost like a J.J. Watt-esque type player. Now, he's not going to have the same Hall of Fame career as J.J. Watt. At least I wouldn't bet on him having one. but like he's one of those corn-fed Midwest boys, went to Nebraska, had phenomenal years at Nebraska, great production this past year, and I think a lot of people are just sleeping on him. And if you could get him in the 5th round, I'm not blinking an eye. Let's go in the trenches again, this time on the opposite side of the football with Miles Frazier, offensive lineman out of LSU. And like I talked about with Tate Ratledge, you just kind of need some help up front. Now, I don't think Miles can particularly compete for a starting role in his first year like I believe Tate Ratledge can. But still, like if you look at this offensive line group right now, the interior just gets a little bit scarce. Honestly, the entire offensive line is a little bit scarce when it comes to depth. Now, Miles Frazier was a phenomenal pass blocker this past year. 902 snaps, an 88 pass block grade. His run blocking wasn't the best, sitting about a 64, which obviously is going to need a little bit of a bump up when coming to the pros, especially with an offense like Baltimore has with Derrick Henry. But still, like there's enough there for Miles Frazier, in my opinion, to make a 6th-round pick. And that's kind of the same way I feel about this next selection, is R.J. Mickens, safety out of Clemson. I really like R.J., okay? And he's one of those guys that I feel like is either going to be a phenomenal player or is going to be one of those selections that you're like, maybe in a 20/20 hindsight, that might not have been the best choice, okay? He's a little bit boom or bust, but I would take the risk in the 6th. Now, he's not as big of a boom bust like Nicky Manworthy is, and it's not going to be risking as much because it is a 6th-round pick, but like he had some really great flashes in Clemson, but also if you look at the tape a little bit, there's a lot of head scratchers there as well. We're still in the 6th round, okay? We got 4 picks total, might I remind you. And I want to hear from you guys. Will Baltimore make all 4 6th-round selections? Give me a yes or give me a no in the comment section. I tend to believe they won't. I think they're going to trade them at some point in the next couple of days, probably tomorrow, hopefully the next day after that if they don't on Thursday. But you let me know in the comment section yes or no. Let's stick around in round 6, the 3rd of the selections. Give me Justin Wally, cornerback out of Minnesota. Wally is a guy I have yet to pick, all right? This is my first time actually picking him in this entire offseason. This is my 9th mock draft. But still, I think he's a guy that showed a lot of really great flash in Minnesota. Also is a special teams guy, and I know this team is kind of running a little bit low on special teams depth. I think this is one of those 6th-round selections that you say, you know what, if he gets to the right situation and the right cornerback room, like I think is there in Baltimore, he could balloon and blossom into a really, really solid player. Let's go to Smell Munden, Jr., linebacker out of UGA. Another linebacker, the last one in this draft, okay? I promise you. I think what Munden brings you that Stutzman or Roquan Smith don't necessarily is he's an above-average coverage backer, which is kind of what you need at this point if you did draft Danny Stutzman and if you are pairing him with a guy like Roquan Smith. Munden isn't one of those guys that like, okay, 3rd down, he has to be on the field, but I don't think if he's on the field on 3rd down, he's a minus. Like I said, he's an above-average coverage blocker, but he's really good in run defense as well. Let's go to the 7th round, final selection of this mock draft, Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver out of the University of Arkansas. And I really do love Andrew Armstrong. I think my pro comp to him is he's like a CD Lamb light version. And I'm not just saying that because they have similar hairstyles, okay? This is a dude that if you get the ball in his hands, he can really make something special happen with it. He's had 2 times in his collegiate career getting over 1,000 yards. He's combined for over 130 receptions, 140 receptions over the last 2 years. Now, he didn't find pay dirt but 1 time this past season. But again, this is a 7th round selection. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can make some special things happen with it. He never really had, a great quarterback at Arkansas, especially last year. Still put up great stats, right? So I really like Armstrong in the 7th. Now, if you're picking him in the 6th, I would probably tell you it's a little bit of a reach, but like at this point, why not get a guy who's produced very well in the SEC and just see what happens in this wide receiver room with this offense? I think Armstrong could be a really good pro one day. Make sure you guys subscribe because tomorrow's the NFL draft, and I promise you, you're going to want to lock us in before that. We'll have the latest buzz tomorrow morning, and then, of course, we'll have all the picks you could want right here on the channel. We'll see you next time.